Hello, thanks for watching Face to Face Africa. My name is Gentil Niwe. Right now here, I am with my friend Francis. We are at the Afro-Community Building Bridges function in Malmö, Skåne. Francis, introduce yourself and tell us what this function is all about.
Okay, my name is Francis Otuoba. I'm originally from Nigeria, and I'm the spokesperson of the Nigerian community in Skåne here. This program, Building Bridges and Understanding, is actually a program that was conceived by the leadership of the Nigerian community here in close collaboration with the African Leaders Forum. We thought that there's a bit of gap, a bit of vacuum, a bit of what you call lacuna in Latin language, and that has led to several mistrust. And, we thought that it would be nice if we could bring Africans together and ensure that we're able to bring both the Africans and the Swedish authority on the same table and be able to discuss our common issues. I know it's very difficult for people to, agree on everything, but it's important to identify issues where we all agree. So let's take care of that first. Then we can KIV the ones that we have a bit of reservations towards and treat them much, much later. So that's exactly what this program seeks to achieve. And I'm sure that with what we have today, of course, we had a representative of the police force, Open Skåne, and a lot of agencies that were presented, and people were able to ask very relevant, tough questions. So people are leaving here satisfied. They are more enlightened now. So you expect that when people are more enlightened, better educated, they will be able to act. And of course, Malmö will be better for all, more peaceful. And we ensure that we'll be able to have a community and a system that is very peaceful for everyone to live. That's the whole idea basically, and this is just one of thousands of series of engagement that we're going to be having. Such that if there are issues tomorrow, there's a channel that the relevant authority can reach out to be able to disseminate information to the African community here and the African leaders. So that's what this program clearly represents, and we're hoping that we'll be able to hit our mark very shortly.
Thank you so much, Mr. Francis. Hope you're going to learn and love what you're going to be following right now. Please sit down, relax, and make sure you follow the entire video because we had a good engagement with different Swedish agencies. This has been, and this is Afro-Community Building Bridges function in Malmö. Please watch the entire video.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So very quickly, I'd like to introduce my partner for today. We understand the need for inclusivity and diversity, so I'm not going to be taking this journey alone. I have beautiful our classroom who's going to be assisting me in this show.
I also want to welcome all of you to this important topic about integrating to the society we live in, chosen community. So today the topic is building bridges and creating understanding between us and the society we decide to live in. So we want to welcome.
I would like to use this opportunity to welcome the President of the Nigerian community in Skåne here, Chief Toby Taylor, for welcome address. First, before he does that, I just want to commend his effort. This whole event is powered by his leadership, and we want to commend him for bringing a lot of revolution to the way we do our things here. And we're hoping that this is just the beginning of so many good things to come. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome to this academic program. Like they introduced me earlier on, my name is Toby Taylor from Nigeria, and this is a collaboration between the Nigerian community, Skåne, and African Leaders Forum. And the topic we will debate on, we will try to enlighten ourselves on, is building the importance of building bridges between communities, building bridges in society. I remember there was a documentary I saw earlier on about a certain type of people. When they want to say yes, they do like this. And when they want to say no, they do like this. Then another community says no like this and yes like this. The point there is that we've been wired, the two communities have been wired separately. You understand? To do certain things in certain way. Now imagine, if we now imagine that the community now interchange, somebody that says yes like this goes to the community that says yes like this. You know, there has to be a re-enlightenment. There has to be, we have to re-enlighten ourselves. The person has to relearn certain things. So, and I believe that, you know, some of us we've been wired in certain ways to do certain things certain ways. And by virtue of the fact that we live in a land like Sweden, there are ways to do their things. And it is very important that we try to relearn, we unlearn, and replan, and re-energize ourselves. And that is why we need things like this. So I will not want to take, without much ado, I will not want to take most of our time. Let us just sit back and have great expectation for this. We have amazing people that are here just as they are, okay? And we will not be ready. This is just the beginning of greater things to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you so much. Like you rightly mentioned, the stakes are high, and we want to try to see how we can elevate the conversation here, because we understand the need for this sort of understanding, and we're trying to see how we can initiate it. We have made a very remarkable step by trying to put this up, and we're hoping that we'll only sustain this program, and we'll be able to build an environment in Malmö that is promotes a lot of coexistence between immigrants and the core suits here. But that's the idea for us, so we intend to pursue that clearly. Awa, you want to say something in that direction?
Yes, and I just want to also highlight something. It's not only for the citizens of Malmö, but we are live sending this, and we are also recording this, so it could be spread to other ones in Sweden. Because the problems in Malmö is not only for Malmö. So if we can share, we are carrying. So, thank you.
Yeah, very quickly, we'll be having 5 minutes musical interlude just to, ensure that everything settles down, then we'll take up from there. So, 5 minutes cool music just for our guests, so you have a clear idea of what the African everything looks like, sounds like. Thank you.
So we want to welcome Amani Lubani to tell us about the human rights in Malmö. So please welcome.
Hello everybody, nice to see you all. My name is Amani Lubani. I'm the Deputy Mayor for Democracy and Human Rights in the city of Malmö. Actually, sure, that's fine. Okay, so actually this is not the first time I've heard Nigerian music. I used to live in London, and as you know, there's a large Nigerian community, an African community, a vibrant community in Britain in general, and in London in specific, where I actually lived in 9 years. Wow. However, I came back to my country, to Sweden, and got active in politics. And today, I'm happy to see so many of you ready to build bridges and be part of this amazing society which we actually have in Sweden. The reason why I came back and why I'm thinking also to share this with you on this opportunity is society here is built on equality. Human rights is core to Swedish society. What is democracy then? It is that we as citizens all have the rights to raise our voice, to take part, and to have our say how we would like to have it. It is the opposite of autocracy or dictatorship. So therefore, this kind of society, the way it's built, it has a lot of communities. Community is a very important part of the system. And democracy is something that is not forever. It's something we have to work to remain, so that it remains vibrant. We have to make our part. It makes us, it has demands on us to be engaged in society. I'll take an example, city of Malmö. How do we want to build bridges when we have 180 nationalities in this city? How are we going to communicate when we have 150 languages spoken in our city every day? When we talk to each other, when we're engaged with each other, when we vote, when it's election time, so that we're part of this community and this city and the results that we're seeing here. And therefore, I'm very happy, genuinely happy that you are now interested in being part of this democratic process. Because without you, your voice actually will not be there. We will not, as politicians, be aware of what your community is interested in. What are the challenges? What are the problems? Is everything perfect? Or do you have any opinions or something you wanna tell us? This is human rights. It is transparency. It is taking part in decision making and representation and non-discrimination. And therefore, what I'd like to say is please get yourself sort of active in society here. I really hope to come back in a few years and speak in Swedish, because knowledge is power. Understanding what now goes on in politics in Sweden is key. The way this society is changing, it is not the same all the time. It is changing. And when you go out there in the city and you meet myndigheterna, the authorities, what you meet, what you see, the services you get are a result of the changing political nature of this debate, which you can take part of, which you can affect, so that we will listen more to every citizen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, there's still a few questions that we,
Yeah, we want to ask you questions. Please don't leave us out.
So you want to get started, you want to use the chairs? Very quickly, this is supposed to be a Q&A session alongside. So I'm sure that the questions that will be coming up very shortly that will be directed towards the direction. But I'd like to say something. I had the privilege of meeting with the Deputy Mayor today, Aaron Salif, the one in charge of employment and social. And he brought up some issues in the course of our conversation. I'm sure that was the first time I was hearing that. Afrophobia, fear of Africans, Islamophobia, fear of Islam, and fear of Muslims. So I was wondering where all of this came from. I thought I was going to use this opportunity to be able to ask this very all-important question, maybe be able to elucidate a bit how this concept came about and if we are currently witnessing that in Sweden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure, yes. It's correct that we are now in our city. We're going to we're going to do action plans, how to combat Afrophobia and how to combat Islamophobia. The reason why we're going to work on this is because we're seeing a rise. We're seeing a rise in racism, really, and discrimination in different ways. We have different reports that, for instance, Afrophobia is one of the most violent forms of racism, which means that it's more common, that it results in violence. We know that particularly for children in schools, that it's occurring, like I think it was about 30% of children in Swedish schools in 5th grade experience some form of racism. Obviously that's unacceptable, and as I mentioned in my speech, that it's part of human rights to make sure that it can be a result of communities coming together. We need to work on that. How do we meet? How do we get to learn each other? And how do we combat this form of racism, or these forms? Because we work also against anti-Semitism, anti-Ziganism, or with the Roma people, and also with homophobia. So it's common forms of discrimination that we have, and we need to do action plans. So the steps we're going to take is that we're going to invite community. See how important to meet politics and raise your voice. We're going to invite community and to have sort of an here, in what ways do you think we can do this the best? It's part of our work. So we have our own employees who are experts in this field, and we're going to have a program, this action plan of different sets of things. What are we going to do in schools? How are we going to, so we have a lot of African Swedes, Afro-Swedes here, who have been living here for many years. They're part of the history of the city. How do we collect data so that it's part of our heritage and history and culture? And how can communities get together as well and celebrate their cultures? And we have a lot going on actually, specifically for Afrophobia and Islamophobia this period, because we focused on anti-Semitism and anti-Ziganism or anti-Romism the past 4 years. So we continue to do those as well, but this is some field that we have to step up.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
Is this something particularly that you do here in Malmö, or is it more national? Like this work that you try to do to include the societies, to be part of this important work that you do here? Is it just for locally, or is it more national?
Well, there are national plans, but because this political system in Sweden is municipality has responsibility for some parts, and the region is responsible for other parts, and the parliament, or nationally, the responsibility is, for instance, the police is not a municipality issue, it has to be on a national level. But schools is a local level, or preschools, or Malmö Stad as an employer, we have 28,000 employees, how they meet people and being an inclusive employer is another aspect of this. So basically, I think definitely on a national level there is a plan, and one can access it as well online. It is a plan to be done, to be completed, but here in Malmö we're going to do our own action plan, which is for the local level. But among other municipalities, I think Malmö is leading the way, because we're also part of ECAR, which is European Cities Against Racism. So we're part of this European network, and we want to be a city that combats racism and works really for human rights in many ways.
Okay, thank you. And then the last one would be, how do you get engaged if you want to get engaged?
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're just at the beginning of, we're reorganizing our department so that we have a human resource team of workers who are going to work with this. And I think about maybe the end of this year, we're going to have a better picture of the organizational part. So when we have the organization set, then I'll be able to answer in what sort of practical way. But please stay in touch, and I'd love to come back again and tell you how this work is going and moving forward, and invite you to take part.
Thank you so much. We are looking forward to follow you in this important work, because our kids is our future, so we are very interested in this work. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very quickly, we have to skip one part of the program, but I'm afraid we'll have to bring it up now. I'd like to announce to the House that we have the representative of the ambassador to Sweden. He's right here in the House. I'm sure he has a goodwill message from the ambassador to us. His Excellency, Ambassador Ali, please.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor, Malmö Police, President Nigerian Community, other escorts, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. First, I have to extend the apologies of His Excellency Ambassador Bibi Haman, the Ambassador to Sweden, with concurrent accreditation to Norway, Finland, and Denmark. He has to be away in Norway, invitation came. emphasize the importance of this kind of gathering. Now, until we present him. Mine is just to extend his good message and to commend the organizers of this event and to implore them to really cultivate the habit of building bridges in your community, building bridges between you and your embassies is key once you are outside the shore of Nigeria. It's not only when you are in a problem that you approach the embassy. Ensure that you always cultivate the habit of inviting embassies to your show, which is, I commend you very well, and for you to appreciate, for us to appreciate the effort. That's why we are here. And we are here for you. The embassy is here for you. So once again, I commend the organizers and to assure you that the embassy will always be with you in any program you initiate. Extend invitation to us, we shall be here. We shall always listen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was a beautiful one. Our next guest would be.
Yes. But yeah, as you can see, if you have any questions for these people that do this important work, please ask them. We have a Menti, and you can either go to the webpage or download the app. So if you have any questions for these people, so please ask them. And if we don't have the time to answer them today, we will do our best to assure that all the questions will be answered in one way or another. So, Anna Lundvall, please come. Welcome. Thank you.
Anna Lundvall, he represents the market, he represents the labor market, so he's going to be speaking concerning that. If you have questions, tell us around that direction, please begin to look them now the app so she can attend to that. Thank you.
Hello, thank you so much for welcoming me here. My name is Anna Lundvall, and I'm working for Malmö stad, arbetsmarknadsavdelningen. So it's Malmö stad's labor market department. My Swedish is like beginner level, step 2. But I'm really hopeful and thankful if you can help me if I get stuck somewhere. But let us proceed. So when you are without work, unemployed, often you go to Arbetsförmedlingen, right? Yeah. You all know Arbetsförmedlingen. Yeah. It's organization from the government, and Arbetsmarknadsavdelningen Malmö stad is from the municipality. Thank you. So, when are you coming to us? It's through when you have done what you can, and the money is low, nothing on the bank account, and you have the bills to pay, the rent to pay, but you can't make it work. You have tried everything. Then you can go to the social office and get help. You can have economic aid. In Sweden, when you have economic aid, you also need a plan to work or studies. So you have to do everything you can to get a job, basically. And that's where I get involved. So I work together with Arbetsförmedlingen, but also together with the social. Do you have any questions? So maybe I can answer that one. If you have some special interests in the subject.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you please explain more, like, if I come as a student with a student visa and a working visa, am I entitled to get social support, social aid in this country then? Because I don't have the citizenship.
No, exactly. You don't need a citizenship, but it's a hard question. I can't answer that. I believe you can have economic aid, but let me get into it.
Yeah. Let us ask later.
Yeah.
But then I have another question. I think it's very important today, when they have changed this amount for approval of staying of the visa, working visa. They have raised it up. And for people who work already and have an income, and they kind of get the visa, the permits based on what was before. And now many of us are stressed, not us, but many people are stressed about this. How could they do? Because some of them, they have work, but the paycheck is not big enough. So what advice can you give, except for find other jobs or work two jobs? And what else advice can you give these people?
It's a really difficult situation. It is. I don't know really, just frankly, because it's the paycheck, right? So you need to get the jobs, you need to know the work market, and you need to inform yourself which kind of work can I take with my experience, with my educational background, and do the best of it, because different jobs is different pay. So yeah.
But is it something that you can turn to Arbetsförmedlingen for helping these questions? Because time is checking. I think the new law or something is in October or something. And so is it possible to go to Arbetsförmedlingen and say, this is my current situation. I've been trying to get other jobs, but I'm not getting any.
Yeah.
But so we can turn to you.
Yeah, to Arbetsförmedlingen.
For Malmö staff, but I mean for the people in Malmö.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Very quickly, there's a question on the board. Would you like me to read it out, or you just comment?
Yeah.
Labor market most times have been sent to start matching, but they don't really help. Is there a way to review these bodies?
Okay, so there's a lot of companies who's working with stödmatchning and Chrome, and this is also underneath Arbetsförmedlingen, which I'm not representing today. But what I can say is, if you are not comfortable or you're not, you don't think it's a good help, you can always change. So you can change company for stödmatchning, or Chrome, as it's called nowadays. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. She asked a question just before this one. It was obvious that you didn't place your hands on the response and an answer. I asked the deputy mayor that same question today concerning the proposed 26,500 or so new work permit position. What he said, as a politician, I do not expect that you're going to respond in that way. But as a politician, he was able to give a fair response. He's just a proposer. It's yet to be implemented. It's going to go through Parliament. And besides, of course, you know that there are going to be a lot of procedures, you know, a lot of bodies, pressure groups are going to try to see how we can find a balance. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a consensus, and we're going to get something first. So I do not think that it's something to worry too much about. A few people that are very close to us are heavily affected, but we are hopeful that we'll see the human side of this new government. Thank you. I don't know if there are any other questions, so that we could just attend to them briefly before we allow us. She'll be standing for so long now.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just take the mic back.
Thank you. My name is Jonathan. I actually have a friend, that's affected by this very proposal that's going to be effective come October this year. But I said, I told him, if it's possible for him, like to get 2 jobs, to be paid that much, and he was like, that's not possible. So I don't know if that is really true or not. And if that is true, is there a way that they can help, the government can help, so that at least people who are really bent on like staying here and doing the needful, like working and to earn a living, and probably have the family, they can actually stay at the end of the day. There is a way that people can get 2 jobs instead of 1.
Yeah, it's a good question, but I'm sorry, I'm not the right person to answer that, because I'm not from Afro-Community or Migrationsverket yet. So I can't give you the wrong answer there, but it's something to be informed about later on. Yeah.
Okay, so if you have any questions about labor and social in that area, in that field, so please,
Just
turn to her. And another question.
It's not really a question. I just wanted to say that for some of the questions they are asking should be reserved for the immigration person. I don't think they have any immigration here, because she's from Afro-Community and she has nothing to do with how much job you have to have and all that. That's what I wanted to clarify.
This Microsoft.
thank you.
Is Susanna Ismaili here? Broadcast?
I'm not sure, so we just we're supposed to take a 10 minutes break. Okay. Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Panet. She's going to be standing in for...
Some minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Please.
Thank you very much for attending this conference. My name is Jeanette Berga, and I'm the manager of this wonderful place. It's the first association center, Vel 21 in Malmö. And I have had the privilege to arrange this conference together with my new friends here, the Nigerian community in Skåne. We are very pleased and happy that we have the ability and the privilege to arrange this together. And we are waiting for the representative for a union called Kommunal, where I know many of you actually are working in this kind of works as a cleaner or at fabrics or other big companies where Kommunal is at as a union. Is there anyone, members from Kommunal here attending today? You are? And you are as well? Basim? And you? Yeah, so 3 of you, 4 actually, yeah. So we will hear what they have to tell us later on, and we are waiting. Otherwise, we will take a break. Thank you very much, the Nigerian the ambassador, for attending this conference today. We're very glad that you are here, especially invited for this occasion. Thank you very much, and hopefully we will have a chat during the coffee break and the biscuits. And I think there is a Nigerian specialty as well, right? Is this fufu? No? Fufu, not fufu. Fufu is the dinner, right? In the evening. Okay, right. I got it wrong. But it's poof poof. It's like poof. No poof. I can make you laugh, that's good. But they are like small donuts, right? Yeah, really good. Okay.
Okay, so please let us start again. Welcome back from the break. You who were here to try pop, and for you at home, I hope you had something nice at your break. Now we want to welcome Tobias Brohammar and Alan Tijan, sorry, from the police force. Please give them a warm applause.
Yeah, hello everybody. First of all, we want to thank you for inviting us. It's an honor both for me and my colleague to be here. I can start by introducing myself. My name is Alan, and I work as a police officer, and I have done so for the past 13 years. I'm 44 years old. I'm turning 45 in a few months. Married and 4 kids. Two daughters and 2 boys. I see Malmö as my hometown. I've lived here for more than 20 years. I was actually born in Bosnia, and I came here as a refugee. Wow. So Malmö is a city that has become a part of me and my family.
Okay, I will shortly introduce myself too. My name is Tobias, and I also work as a municipality police officer. I've been working for 23 years as a police, different tasks, and the last 3.5 years as a municipality police officer. Okay, I have 3 kids, and I'm not married. But I come from another country too. I'm from South America, from Chile. I'm adopted, so I've been living here for mostly my whole life. So that's the background of us. So, Alan.
Yes, in my job as a police officer, I work just like Tobias as a municipality police, which means that I work closer to the Malmö citizens through the various collaborations. Malmö is divided into the 2 police areas, the southern and the northern. Tobias and I work in a northern part of the Malmö's police area. The police districts north in Sweden. North is Sweden's largest police area. We have approximately 400 employees who work with different assignments. One of the assignments we have is the contact with the association and religious congregations. In the role of municipality police, we have a great responsibility regarding the police crime prevention work. Part of our task is to get to know the citizen and listen to their problems and assist them in the best possible way. Perhaps the most important mission is to create a trust between citizens and police, just like we are doing this evening. In crime prevention work, we work with different actors, social service, schools, churches, mosques, synagogues, non-profit associations, property owners who work together to create a better society that exists for all of us, and where everyone should feel welcome. To make it easier to understand what our work is about, I can mention an example. In our work as municipality police officer during a meeting with the property owner. He can tell us about youths or drug sales in their properties, and I collect the information and pass the information under the police unit that works in that area in the question. What is important for those who may be new in the country is that you can always call the police, and anonymously, not by police, if you need to leave some information. It is about something if it's about something that might not be so urgent, you can do it calling 11414. When something is urgent, you always call 112. We have close cooperation with the social services, as I mentioned before, and we have an obligation to contact the social service if we should meet the child in an inappropriate environment, which may, for example, concern children who live with their parents who are addicts. We also have a close cooperation with a number of other authorities to ensure that we have a better society where our children will grow up in a safe environment. We in the police strive for diversity. Therefore, I want to use this opportunity to help us. This by making sure that your children and you also apply to the police and help us to create a safe city for ourselves and for our children. Thank you for allowing us to make this.
Yeah, and I would just, you were talking about diversity, and we've been talking about this before with speakers. We have a multicultural city, Malmö, and that's a challenge, and that's an opportunity. So, as Alan told us, we're working close to the minorities and the communities in the city. And that's one of our main tasks, to work with crime prevention and create trust between the police and the people living in Malmö. So we hope we can start from here. Maybe we can see each other another time and create this trust between us and the people. Okay, so thank you.
Okay, so we'll give there are no questions online, but I'm sure we're going to allow a few questions that we will. Okay, so let me just do the honor of reading them out. My apologies. So
No, it's no problem. Should we start with that one?
Yes, we can start with you want to read it yourself, or you just, I should just echo it?
Well, if you read it, so
Okay.
yeah.
Why do I have to follow speed limit? Shut down.
Well, I think most countries have rules about traffic, and well, we have like a zero policy in Sweden that no one is supposed to get killed in traffic, and there is a lot of studies around this, and you can see that if you lower the speed, there is less people dying by traffic accident. And I think that's why we have the rules, and you know, close to schools, minor schools, 30 kilometers, and then we have 40, is it 70? No, not in city. If we're talking about Malmö, you have to keep down or drive slowly. That's the thing to do. Okay, did I answer the question?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that was right. Do you have any question online?
Yeah, there's another one.
Okay, there's another one. Where can I get more information about my rights in Sweden?
Well, I don't think that this should apply to this. But
So
Well,
if you want to do justice to that.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned it clearly, but we have like social media. We have polisen.se. And there you can find a lot of information about the police, but also your rights and so on. And it's in different languages. So English and maybe some African languages too. But I think the big languages, how do you say?
The
major languages like English, French, Spanish, and so on. We have Arabic and so on. We have on the website.
I think we'll just give room to a few persons in the house to ask that question. Mr. Lande, please.
Yes, I just listening to his presentation. He did say municipality police a few times. Is there a difference between municipality police and another police? What are the different types of police we have? And the other question, the last question is, I think maybe a lot of problems that some of us that come from abroad might have is, for example, driver's license. People come with a driver's license from another country and they want to drive in Sweden. Is there something else you guys on police, as police officers, is there any explanation you can make to help some of us who might have problems understanding that if you have an international driver's license, you can only use it X number of months or X number of years, or is that the things that you might have to do? I know maybe it's not your area, but I'm sure you have met people who have problems in this area.
Yeah, I mean, we are working closer to the Malmö citizens. If you want to ask me about the driving license, I can tell you that driving license, if you have what kind of driving license do you have?
No, I don't have. I'm just because I know people have.
For example, an international.
Yeah, if you have for example, Nigerian driving license, and you get your permit in Sweden, then your Nigerian license is valid for 1 year. That you know.
Yeah.
You have a whole year to change to the Swedish driving license. Only driving license which are valid, you can change to the license from the European Union and Japan.
Okay. What about the US?
Sorry?
From the US as well?
No.
Okay.
No. That's the same rule.
Okay.
Only 1 year. And I'm not sure about the UK driving license because UK is not a part of the European Union anymore. So I'm not sure if I can answer that.
You've done it justice.
Talking about changing, transiting from a Nigerian driver's license to a Swedish driver's license, do you have to go through the training, or you just like it is applicable for the European? Because some of us want to know.
I'm sorry to say that, but you need to
worry
the whole team. And that's not only for the Nigerians. I remember when I was a kid, and my dad was driving for like 30 years, and he came to Sweden. He was, he had to go to the traffic school again.
Okay, we have one
municipality police officer.
Thank you.
Municipality, you haven't answered the other question.
What's the difference? We are working more the local. So me and Tobias, we are responsible for the north part of the Malmö, Säved and Mellanslöjet. And we are like 4 municipality police officers in the north police district. And me and Tobias are responsible for this area.
Okay.
I can.
It's on.
Yes. Okay. the thing is, the organization, the police in its whole is we like have a national, we have regions, and then we have the police areas. And every police area, this is Malmö, is divided in local districts. So we have a lot of local districts, but in Malmö we have 2. And we are discussing to make it 4 because we're a lot of people and there is a lot of work for us to do in many ways. But it's not just crime, it's just to prevent and to keep trust between us and the citizen and so on. So a little explanation about the organization. And every local district take, responsibility for the problems and what's happening in its whole in the local district. Sure.
Okay, we have a question here.
Thank you. My name is also Joseph, and I want to first commend the 2 police officers for coming here. And when you mentioned that both of you have an immigrant background, even though you were adopted and brought to Sweden, you grew up here, you're part of the Swedish society. I want to ask, for us as Africans, we would also like to see an African with our skin color in the police force, which is not really common in Malmö. I think I've seen a number of you in Stockholm, but here in Malmö it's not that common. I want to ask, what kind of advice would you give to us Africans? Most of us are having children, we are raising children, first generational Swedish, who are born here, and you never know who wants to be a police officer in the future. What kind of advice would you give to the parents, like an African who wants to become a police officer in Sweden? What is the best way in doing that? Thank you so much.
Yeah, maybe never give up. Actually, I have one of my good friends. He's a Nigerian, and he's a police officer as well. And he was he's being a police officer for almost 20 years. So never give up. In Malmö.
Yes, and the police force is supposed to represent the country and the people living in the country. And right now we are not there. You know, we struggle for more women applying to the school and to becoming a police officer. And also, you know, the diversity in our society is very important because we have different backgrounds and different culture. And you can tell your children that it's a very interesting job. And if you want to, if you like to work with people and you want to help and keep order, you're more than welcome. And the police is supposed to be, what should you say, in many ways, a normal side of the society. We are a part of the society, and we want more of different backgrounds, of course.
Sir, do you have a say as regards the minimum qualification to become a police officer? You know, if there is a station.
Yeah, you need 3 years of gymnasium.
Okay.
After preschool, it's 9 years. And then you have 3 years of gymnasium. And you need to have like, vad heter godkända? Grades. You have to have like Swedish, English, and mathematics. Like godkänd.
Yeah, pass.
Yes, of course. But you also need like a social intelligence, you know. You have to pass a test by a psychologist and some test of IQ and so on. But we're not, you know, astronauts. So, but you know, if you have some sort of EQ, like for working with people, that's a plus, of course. But you can do a lot of things. If you become a police officer, you can do a lot of things. Not just only working in the street. You can work with in the office too. Okay.
Yeah, I have a question. Right, it's more of a practical one. You know, when I first came to Sweden, I met someone that actually told me, like, if someone comes into your house to steal something, and you're there, just, allow the person to steal and go. Never engage and everything. So there was another situation that happened that someone was attacking another person, and the person reacted, and that my friend said, no, you don't react, you just wait. So to what level can you protect yourself that is okay from the police perspective not to charge you in any kind of situation?
You can only use that level of force, which is enough to stop the attack. So sometimes it's enough with just one push. Sometimes it's maybe enough with the 2 or 3 push. And sometimes it's maybe one push is too much.
Hi. I understand you said the requirements to become a police officer is English, Swedish, and some other necessary. Yes. I'm a graduate of Malmö University, and I studied criminology. And I did like a 16-credit course in social work in School of Ballet in Switzerland for social work and children. And then I'm really interested in working with the police. The requirements are so high, like you have to speak Swedish. That's number one priority. Yeah. Yes, but I have also other African people who studied with me back in Malmö University, and we were actually very, very interested in working. Even if we had you had some post-page of employment on LinkedIn currently, and the requirement was you must speak Swedish. So our fear of even trying to give it an attempt is the language. We do understand a little bit of it, and most time, like new people like me, we're afraid to actually come forward and speak as the way you're expected to speak the language. So for me, I'm speaking from my own perspective, I'm not speaking about any other person. But I have that thing. If, like the UK, they have like you don't have to be a police, you can like, you can just like a community thing to learn how it works. I'm just wondering if the Swedish police actually have something like that. Like, we're not asking to be paid, but we're asking to actually help and see how it works, and probably walk from that place up and see maybe we could like contribute, considering the requirements.
Do you know that you can work voluntarily with the police?
No, I don't know.
So,
We have the volunteers as well. You can volunteer and you help the police of, spread information and so on. But you can also be a part of a community, sometimes we have had help from the religious communities in the city, burning the Quran and so on, for information, to minimize disinformation. So this is one way of getting involved and be able to, keeping relationship between the police and citizens. So, but you don't have to be a police officer to work in the police. Okay, so everyone is not a police in the background. You can work as a civilanställd. Okay, civil service. Okay, so that's a possibility. But the thing is, you need to have the Swedish language, and that can be hard. So,
Yes. My question is, we come from different backgrounds. There are certain things we have learned and we need to relearn. Now, as a good citizen, I know I have some rights and I have some obligations. What should I do when I see a crime being committed and I am a witness? What should be my obligation as a good citizen?
I like that you said you have some rights and obligations. That's a good thing. If it's something urgent, just like I told you before, you call 112. But if you only want to tip off the police, bring some available information anonymously, or maybe file reports, 114, or visit our police station.
And if you read in the website, you can read about why it's so important to give us a call or to do a report and so on, to tip off in some, because we need some help, you know, for our job and homework. So.
But with identity protection.
Yeah.
Right? What about that? You protect my identity.
As a witness?
Yes.
We don't have identity protections in Sweden. They discuss it on the government level, but you know there's a risk too. And we're living in democracy, and the thing with democracy is that you're supposed to, you know, you have rights and obligations. And but we see in Malmö, but in the whole Sweden, we have a culture of silence. You know, people don't want to get involved, yeah. But it's important to get involved in some way too. So, yeah, we can discuss this, you know, for many hours. So,
If you have a question, go to the website. If you can't find it, please contact the police. And please, to all of you who have family, friends, and communities, see how you can get involved to help and support the police to do their job easier, so we can build that trust, bridge of trust, right? Work together. And thank you so much. Let's move on. Now we want to welcome Sofia Halbeck to the stage.
Hi. It's still on, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking you told you something about your background. So my background is I was born in Sweden. And I've been living in Sweden. It's kind of a boring background, but then when I was a teenager, my dad got a job working for a shipping company in Apapa Harbor. So we go move Lagos. So Nigeria is close to my heart. We lived there for many years. And my father lived there in the 60s as well, and then he turned out he got to be a general counsel for Denmark. So lots of connections. So I know Nigeria kind of well, and I know Sweden kind of well. And I know there could also be a difference in trust for the politics or for the everything, but also concerning the police and what you said. In Sweden, it's like you said, everybody is like this. You know, they don't interfere. My experience in Lagos, if something happens, people come, right? They don't come here. They come. I live in Malmö here. There are many people from other backgrounds. They come there. Other parts of Malmö, they don't. No. And also, a big difference I think is someone told me in Lagos that. They said, I know you're not from here. I can tell. So, if you're not from here, we need to take care of you. You know, you're in a small position because you're not Nigerian, so we need to help you. In Sweden, sometimes we tend to see it the other way around, which is something we all need to work on, you know? So, basically, I think that's what I'm trying to do. I work for an organization called Open Skåne. And what we do is try to increase the social cohesion of Skåne, which in my case means that we try to get all parts of the society to work more together, like politics, the business life, the civil society, and also the academics with the university. So we're thinking that the police cannot be alone, or the politics cannot be alone sitting working out problems. They need to get more perspectives, right? So what we try to do is build like tiny bridges and to increase networks, to make people talk. And we do this, our method is to make leaders from both formal and informal leaders to meet. And to maybe sometimes we discuss certain issues, but also to build trust. In Sweden, a lot of things is about trust. We have kind of a built-in trust, which I take for granted, but when I speak to other people, I realize that maybe it's kind of silly that I do, but it's just built in. We trust everyone. Like if there's a note in my stair, you know, and it says, leave your key to go somewhere and put your key there. I will go there and put my key, you know. Whereas other people would go, why? Where are you going with my key, you know? But this is, we need to understand each other there. That we need to understand that people that come from other experiences or other cultures do not have that built-in trust, which can create a problem which some people think they are ignorance or that they don't understand information, which is not the case at all, right? So we try to make everybody get new perspectives. And in the Nigerian or the African community, I have contact with a lot of pastors from the churches, but I haven't met you guys before. I met you, no? But we need to talk more. Sure. So I'm gonna ask Jeanette for your email, because we need the leaders to talk to other leaders, because that's the only way we can make a difference. And now I can see time is running out, but just to mention a few projects we do. We've been working a long time now with the social service issue, which I'm sure you all know of the concern and the worry amongst that. And we started this before all the social media attention and before the what is called the disinformation campaign. Because we realized there is a problem before the campaign started, you know? The problem is not concerned, what I think is not the disinformation campaign. The problem is that there is a worry. And there's many reasons for that worry. And so we've been trying to go through what is the problem here? What are the issues that we need to confront amongst ourselves, amongst the socialtjänsten, amongst everything. So we've been having a dialogue on many different levels. Also, we've been doing projects concerning health. It started with the coronavirus, and then concerning HIV and concerning other health issues, also with with health and faith. So how can we make health also a religious matter and a matter for the parishes and not only for the individual? And also we've been trying to build the business life. There are many people in Malmö that have great businesses, but they're really not involved in the networks that are more Swedish people in. So we need to see as a resource the international business life as well. So that's kind of short what we do. And can I ask you a question? Because for me, like my work is kind of having, you know, I don't know if you say this in English, but like an ear towards the street, you know, to listen. So I would like to know if someone would tell me what you think is the major concern in the African community right now. What are the issues that we need to talk more about?
There are lots of issues that need to be addressed.
Yes.
And I feel like we discussed earlier on, there was this saying that if we don't see you, you don't exist. That is a saying, but it is really not. It is not correct. It is not politically correct. I will use myself as an example. I've been living in this country for over 2 decades, paying my taxes. My taxes is being seen. But me, my personal, individual, or family issues are the authorities that are meant to address this are lying to them.
Yes.
You understand? And I believe most Africans, we have similar challenges. You understand? In terms of inclusiveness, in terms of integration, in terms of labor market, in terms of even some certain rules and regulations. For example, the immigrations department. I'm a Swede by right? And I don't think, okay, for example, you are a Swede too, of course, first grade, second grade Swede. But you know, the immigration laws does not affect you somehow, but 100%, 150% it affects me. And my taxpayers' money is amongst the money being used to pay the salary of those people working against me. You understand? But we discovered that if we just sit in the background and we're not doing anything, just sit and complain amongst ourselves. So that is the reason why we feel okay to why don't we organize ourselves? If I come, like I'm from Nigeria, I belong to the Yoruba tribe. Yes. The Yoruba tribe cannot just form ourselves into a group and say, oh, we are speaking on behalf of the Yorubas. It will not be heard by the embassy just like that. But if we come together as a country, as Nigerians, it will be more effective with the embassy. Likewise, if we go to the Swedish authority as Nigerians, yes, it will be effective, but it will be more effective if we go as Africans, as a people. Like, and with this, we told it is better to direct the touched light instead of being the shadow that the authority will point the light to. We decide, okay, we know the factors, the challenges we are facing. We tell them, look, this is what we are facing. For example, you mentioned about the corona. During the corona thing, people were asking me personal questions, and I can't do anything. There were lots of information from different languages, but not for us. You understand? Yes. It's more like we exist in the limbo, which should not be like that. I understand that no system is perfect, but I believe we believe that it is better to light a candle than cause the darkness. So finding a solution together, and one of the ways to find a solution together is to build bridges. That is what we are doing, a sustainable bridge from A to B, between families, communities, tribes, countries, continent, and of course, yeah. I don't know if anybody knows.
I know that you have actually mentioned labor, which is work. I would say one of the biggest problems that I have started mixing Swedish and English, although my Swedish is not so good. The problems that we as foreigners have, or people who have come in to settle in Sweden recently, we have a big issue with job. Even though a lot of people that might be here have had tons of certificates, qualifications from all over the world, we have like jelly legs when it comes to the job market. I don't know how this can be fixed, but I feel that there is like so much talent which is just going down the drains. Because people who live in Sweden, they are the ones who can make Sweden a better place. So that is like, it doesn't matter which color it can be brown, green, or whatever, because this is talent which should not be allowed to go waste. And there is a lot of it which is going down the drain. So I don't know how this can be fixed, but this is something else that everybody else who has some responsibility have to make efforts to make sure that people can bring into Sweden competencies that Sweden can benefit from, despite the language barrier.
Can I just say something quick? Because we've been working. We started working a lot with this to make also Swedish companies to like broaden their when they recruit people to think about diversity more, try to see what's the problem. Why don't you want to employ, you know? And I think also that is for many reasons, but we've been starting it. But I also want to recommend the people, if you don't have education, I know that they're looking a lot for like programmers and there's, I don't know if you know Felix Onoguo?
Yeah.
He's from Nigeria. He started this. He works for Ready School now. They've only been.
Been on for 2 years now. This is the second year.
Is this yeah? But there's a lot of things happening there, and they're getting great results with many people getting jobs, and many also that don't need Swedish. That are only English. So it's just a little recommendation. But I know this is a huge problem, and I just want to say to you that. We've been doing this work in Trelleborg about where people experience themselves as economically integrated. They're paid tax, you know, all this, but socially excluded. Sorry. And I think that goes for Malmö a lot as well, even though Malmö is way ahead. You know, in many ways way ahead, but still a huge problem. And we talk about this a lot, but we're not there, I know.
Okay. My perspective is coming from social workers. Basically, as an African that brings their kids to Sweden, a lot of parents face social workers taking their kids. I'm going to give an example because I had a course on social work with one of the universities, and they face a lot of things like the kids going to school and then the teacher going to actually make a report that something is wrong. Basically, you said you live in Lagos, and we as Africans have a culture and a way of life, which I feel the social workers should improve more, understanding the way the African community raise their kids, not just like you hear what a child does. And basically, our way of life reflects on our children.
Yes.
And then when the kids go to school, you see this, and then you go on and make a report like, oh, my child did this and that. It's not enough for the kids to be taken away. But most of the people I've spoken to in Sweden, and they have similar problems like that. I don't know what we're doing, but I feel this should be looked into.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know it's a huge problem. And I heard this the first time like 2.5 years ago. So we've been talking this a lot, and I think it goes both ways also. That Nigerian people needs to know more about what the rules are, how can I do to prevent this. But it's also a cultural problem, and it's also how do we raise kids in Sweden? Is that the best way? I don't know. Is there other ways that are good enough? Yes, maybe better, probably, you know. But it can also be the small things. I know in Nigeria, you go tell a kid this, I will hit you. And you don't mean you will hit them, right? But you just say, but if you say that, then someone will, here you go, I will hit you. They can make a report for that, okay? So, and that's a small thing that people need to understand in the socialtjänsten, but also that you need to understand.
Okay, we have a question. Please just go ahead.
Yes, you mentioned the issue about what you think should be addressed, and I think, like you actually mentioned, my friend, something to do with nepotism, where even if we were told you're going to go on a trusted website, let's say Arbus for Mending, and apply there genuinely that you're looking for a job and all that, and then you use that platform, you use all the platforms like Manpower and all that to apply for jobs. But at the end of the day, your CV probably goes into some archive that is never going to be opened. And yet someone actually who's not even going to use that platform of Arbus for Mending or Manpower or any of those other platforms is simply going to send a WhatsApp message to a friend, hey, can you connect me here? And they say, yeah, sure, I know someone who knows someone. And just like that, they have these easy connections. And it's been like word of mouth, some people getting some of these jobs. And I think so the issue of nepotism should actually really be addressed, because it might not really be obvious, it might not seem like it's obvious, but I think it actually really does happen.
Yeah, and it's also a problem, like, it's a trust thing again. You rather employ someone that you trust, right? And it's also, with now, there's such, if you want to employ someone and you put an ad, there's so much work. It's easier if I go, do you know someone? Yes, I do, you know. So I don't say it's right. I know it's a problem, but I can also recommend all of you to network, or to go find some stupid course that you like, you know, where there's Swedish people. Go out, you know, so you get the networks to not only involve in the African community, but also, you know, in school, try to talk a lot, because there are a lot of people that have a lot of contacts that can make a difference for everyone. But I know it's a huge problem, but it's not an easy fix.
Thank you for raising that issue of autism. It's silent, it's working, it's called networking. Talking about diversity, you know, Malmö is a unique city, and it falls under the same category with New York, London, and a few other, with 187 communities, languages and ethnic group. Sure, this is like a United Nations of Europe. I see. You know, I was thinking that maybe the authorities could have been a bit more pragmatic in terms of the way they manage certain areas, like policing. Because now you have to deal with so many sort of people with different background and all of that. It's going to be a lot complex. If you compare it with other enclaves where what you have is maybe 70% original schools and just a few, you know, it's going to be a lot different because cultural challenge, social understanding, and, you know, they understand the system naturally. You don't have to do a lot of schooling, but for a city like Malmö, you need to do a lot of work. So you need to learn what to pick and what not to pick. So I'm just saying, this is for the police as well. So I know that Tobias and his brother will be having a lot of challenge managing Malmö. We're just going to help you out with this sort of collaborations that we're trying to set up now. Talking about diversity as well, maybe we can do more by trying to see how we can deepen the collaborations between the organization and the open market in terms of employment. Felix is doing a great job. I was with him a few days ago. We had an extensive conversation with this as well. And they're trying to see how they can engage the government at the top, you know, just to ensure that we have all of this replicated in every major key cities, because Ready School is only in Malmö. It's not in Stockholm, it's not in Göteborg and other key cities.
And it's also one area.
Yeah, you know, so they're trying to, you know, maybe because Malmö is more diverse, that is why the pilot stage had to started here. And by the way, we have two of the volunteers here who are doing a fantastic job. Vincent, okay, yeah, yes. Yeah, so just so that you know. And so we're just hoping that we will be able to tap into this large pool of talent that we have in Malmö. Because that's what has made America great the way it is. It was built on talent from different parts of the world. Yes, that is what is missing in Sweden. Sweden is an open society run by very private people.
Yes.
I think they should be a bit more open. That is what we're trying to push for.
I agree. Hard to do anything else. But I think sometimes I'm thinking, sometimes I get frustrated and I think everything is so slow and why can't we, you know, do this? And then not too long ago I started thinking back, and I worked, before I started this work, I worked for Sveriges Television, the Swedish public service TV station. And it was when I worked there, when I started working there in the early 2000s, there was still a huge issue that people that was reading the news, that they spoke with the Skånsk accent. People were angry. There was like a big wahala about this all the time. Big. No, it's true. And I'm thinking, if that's still a problem, and it's still a problem that people speak in different accents on TV, Swedish accent. They don't speak the Yoruba accent, you know. They speak Swedish accent, and it's a problem. And I'm thinking, okay, so if that is still a problem, that diversity is still a problem. Okay, so that was only 20 years ago and still not fixed. So that makes me, have a little bit more serenity and thinking, okay, I must let the process, And that doesn't mean that we don't have to work with it for it, but sometimes it has been a big change in Sweden also, fast. So we're running, but you know what I mean?
Okay, thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
Operation Manager of Open Skåne.
Thank you.
So please contact her for any kind of collaboration. So I want to thank all of our guests that came here today, police, ambassador, deputy ambassador, and Sophia, another representative of Malmö stad. And what did we talk about today? We've been talking about job market and labor. And other thing we need to raise is what you, Landing, I think you should just step forward to say what you wanted to say. Here, come. He is the representative from the Gambian community.
Yes, sorry, I also went to work, so after work and I have to come here. I'm sorry I couldn't attend from the beginning. But the point which I had wanted to add to the ladies that presented here, the unions, is this contribution that we make for your insurance. Because I had an experience, I work for a construction company, and I come in Sweden, if you know, they have a system whereby if people have to lose a job, the ones who came in last, they are the ones who lose the job first. So I came into the job, and the construction company had problems elsewhere, so they have to tighten up their belts, and I have been the one on the firing line. So what is important for every one of us to think about that they should do when they come to a job and when they sign a contract is to start paying this contribution, this OCASA. This is one of the most important things. Because if you lose the job first and you have been paying for 12 months, or maybe, I don't know, in some other places they might have on some conditions, you will have to pay for X number of months, maybe 12 months, I don't know exactly how much, but you will have some support when you lose your job. So I, being a JJC, let me just comment. I mean, I have been wiser. So I have not taken this point into consideration very seriously. So I would say my life experience, I mean, the idea when we explain a story is so that we don't make a mistake of the story that is being explained. So I, being the first that is on this firing line, was fired, and I have to find a job quickly. So if you get a job, if you sign a contract, don't forget your OCASA. Do your OCASA first, because this is like you are putting money away when you lose a job. That's the point that I wanted to make.
Thank you so much, Landing. It was a very important point to make. We have also met from the police. The police is not your enemy, it's your friend. Try to work together for the safety of us, safety of the town, and safety of our kids. So everybody that has been here today wants to reach out a hand to say, let's start building bridges of trust. So please help each other, support each other, and help the municipality that we're living in to be a better Malmö in Sweden.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Before we close, I'd like to thank this special lady, Kwame. She's been a wonderful figure. She's been helping the Nigerian community and the African diaspora to do a lot of stuff with Sweden. So I want us to. Thank you for that. We can't pay you enough for this.
No, in heaven.
I also want to thank the Nigerian community, all the executive members, and the executive members of the African Leaders Forum. There's a whole lot that is coming. This is just the beginning of so many things we are going to do. I'm sure that in a couple of months from now, we'll begin to realize some of the achievements and concatenation of events that are going to show up very shortly. Thank you, Tobias. I hope that I meet you someday on the road.
Thank you. We have to thank the people, the technical people who make it possible for us. This is broadcast live, and we will record it.